Hey guys, welcome back to Check Your Minimap podcast. In this second part, we'll be continuing our conversation about Battlefield Hardline Multiplayer, starting off with TDM. I'm your host, Threshold Breaker, but you can call me THB, and I'm joined by Ansem.
Hey guys.
So let's get right into it. I know I mentioned the previous favorite experience, but the one that I really enjoyed was it was really just a moment that I was on Grow House, I was playing TDM. There was an enemy player hiding in or around the guard booth. I didn't know really where, and I shot up and I blew the large propane tank and killed an enemy player. Stuff like that just gives me a good laugh as a player, and I appreciate the fact that you can do it. If I can think of it, I want to be able to do it. I always judge a game by that sometimes, a lot of the time.
You're talking about basically like, wait a minute, if I do it this way, it sounds crazy, but if I do it this way, maybe it will work. And the ability to actually try that and see if it will work.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about. I love thinking about something and be like, oh crap, the dev actually thought about doing that? Yes, like that's awesome.
I truly, truly enjoy that because I've used some of the what most people will call the really gimmicky micro destruction. If you shoot a box and it throws papers all over the place for a second and stuff like that. Like I've used that to assist me in actually getting kills. Like there's a stack of boxes you can grenade and it throws papers everywhere on the block. I grenaded it, papers go everywhere. Guy's trying to see me, but he can't because the papers are in the way. It was basically like setting off a chaff grenade in his face for a second and then just mowed him down.
Oh, so you pulled some Metal Gear Solid shit, is what you're saying?
Oh yeah, totally. Completely just. It was great. It was just one of those moments where it's just like, yep, and that's why I play this game.
Yeah, because as a player, you want to be like, if I can think about it, I want to be able to do it, and that's really the most satisfying feeling. It's like I blew up a monitor, or I shot a computer, and the sparks from the computer blinded the guy. You know how you could do like you can kind of power surge the power nodes on the block and flashbang the enemy team if you're playing as the hacker.
Yes, you can. That's a very interesting feature, and I kind of like that compared to the AC-130.
Alan Kurtz does not exist in this game. His idea is dead and grounded, just like the AC-130 in single player.
God damn. And by the way, guys, we will be talking about single player next time.
But let's get into some of the things. Like one thing I would personally change, gameplay related, would be how you die in this game. I think it's pretty awful. There'll be some instances which you feel like you're dying instantly, and I'm not a computer engineer. I don't know these things, but in my opinion, this could be caused by numerous things, such as player ping versus your ping, the netcode, the game engine, and so forth. Also, another thing we talked about this briefly was the spawning in games. I think general, it's like we discussed, it's pretty bad. It has to be numerous occasions where I simply spawn on a capture point or in a contested area and I die 2 or 3 seconds later. One of my thoughts for fixing this was, you spawn on your teammates. One thing I would like to see, besides the little exclamation point that you see, noting, basically saying that your teammate's in danger, I'd like the health bar to come back on the players. That'll give you a good indication of if you should really spawn on your teammate, and increase the time of spawn protection. I don't know why that went out the window.
I know that they've been trying to do the balance and acts with the spawn protection. Giving them spawn protection makes it so that they're not getting the black screen deaths where they try to load in, but then they're just right back to the spawn screen. But they don't want to give them so much spawn protection that there's nothing they can do. And they don't want to go towards other games where basically your spawn protection is so powerful that you can like take aim before your spawn protection runs out. So there's nothing the enemy team can do other than die because you already have aim and they've already wasted all their bullets trying to kill you.
Yeah, but that's the black screen thing still happens. I mean, it happens to me. I think I have a pretty good connection to the internet.
All I know is I've gotten to the point with me because I hate spawning and dying. If I click spawn, I don't want to be immediately back at the spawn screen. That has gotten to the point where I don't spawn on players.
I know. I wait like a good 10 seconds and then like it's like damned if you do, damned if you don't. Because you can spawn and then die, or you can wait and then spawn and die. I don't know what to say to that anymore. I mean, it just needs to be fixed, please.
I think that we had a great idea the last time we really talked about this, and it's going back a ways, but we just basically, if you spawn and you only live a couple of seconds and you die, basically you get to hit the escape key on PC and negate that life. You're dead. You're back at the spawn screen, but at least it doesn't count against you.
I think that's fair. I mean, some people argue it's like, no, you made the choice to spawn in. I'm like, yes, but come on, guys. Like, we've all been a victim of this thing.
Especially, I'm specifically this system. I wanted in there for you see your teammate and you wait a couple of seconds and you really like watch that little tiny mini cam and he's looking around and he's okay. There's nobody around. You look on the map, there's nobody spotted. There should not be any enemies. This is like your gimme and you own 3 flags around it. Like there's no reason there's a bad guy there. And you spawn, the moment you spawn and it's supposed to be safe, that one enemy that's flanking comes around the corner and shoots you in the back with a shotgun.
Of course. Happens all the time.
Yeah. That's why I am in support of the hit the escape key. Never mind. That was a bad spawn. Doesn't count against you. You still die. I mean, maybe the guy still gets his kill because he actually, managed to shoot you in the back, whatever. It just doesn't count against yours, and you still go to the spawn screen because it wouldn't sting as much looking at that spawn screen again if I knew that death didn't count against me. Because yes, I played a PTFO, but I also play because I'm a good player and I do like to look at my nice stats.
Yeah, of course. Okay, so we kind of covered level design related issues with Hollywood Heights, but another thing that I did want to go into was weapon attachments and that goddamn RDS site.
You're talking about the big giant triangle of ridiculousness?
Yeah, I mean, that's the only thing the triangle site, I don't know who thought that was a good idea. Why? Like, why?
They say that the triangle site is for improved accuracy. You put the tip of the triangle on their nose, you pull the trigger, and it's a headshot. But it doesn't quite work that way.
It's like that. Well, hold on. That's like the carrot that you have on the 7x zoom on the sniper rifle scope. The 7x, yeah, that works because it's the tip of the point is exactly where you should be shooting.
Oh yeah, and it's not colored in either. But it's a chevron.
Right. My point is that for somebody who's not used to that and specifically always used to shooting to the center point of your sight versus the top of the triangle to hit your point or hit your marker, that's just a little odd.
People are going to argue that that's because it's for improved accuracy, and it is. But the problem with the sight is that when you shoot at the top of the triangle, it's not exactly where the round is going for like the assault rifles and stuff like that. That's not exactly where the round's going. Yes, most of the time it is, but not 100% of the time.
Right. The other thing I just wanted to get into real quick was the mechanic class. It just needs more weapons. Like, we all know the K10's the god gun for the mechanic, but they're
nerfing that one.
Yeah, of course they're going to nerf it.
Not enough.
But ultimately, that having that weapon leaves no incentive for the player who's using the mechanic class to really want to use any other weapon. For instance, you have 2 strong primary guns for the operator, the professional, the enforcer, to me, which makes them a little bit more desirable to play, right? I mean, if you have a little bit more variety, and I know weapons in general for Battlefield Hardline are limited right now, but they got to be enjoyable to play with so that you want to play, and I use the term class.
I was actually going to eventually segue into this, but if you're going to just open the door, I'm going to hop right on through. So especially with the flippin' mechanics, the Uzi and the M45, these are joke guns. The M45 goes from like 35 damage to 12 damage.
Yeah.
This is its damage model. It goes from 35 to 12, and you would think that that's okay, but it's 8 meters to when the drop-off starts, and then it's 5 meters to when it's 12.
It's a completely useless weapon. I'm going to jump in and say it right there. It's a completely useless weapon. It looks like a goddamn airsoft gun while you're shooting it.
I think that it's a very beautiful gun. I like that sort of old world. Well, the fact is, it's a Vietnam era gun. They made it for going into Vietnam, and it's a very beautiful gun, but it literally can't do anything worthwhile in the battlefield if you're more than 10 meters away from an enemy.
Okay, so why don't we play this? We'll play this role, right? If you're going to give mechanics CQC weapons, they need at least one weapon that's medium to long range. so that so somebody can pick up that class and say, like BF4, they have a carbine, right? Available to them. Doesn't have to be every carbine in the world, or carbine, however you wish to pronounce it. But I'm saying make the class versatile. That's all. That's all I'm asking for.
That's what they could have done. So you got the M5, yeah, M5K, no, MP5K. The very first gun, the one that both sides have.
Yep.
This gun is close quarters, generally an alright weapon. Not really excels too much in any one. It's just a generally decent gun. Then you go to the MPX and the UMP. These are decent medium range guns to short range guns. You have the K10 and the P90, who are phenomenal in close range. They just tear people apart because they have ridiculous fire rates and ridiculous damage models for close range. But then they completely get lost after medium range. Like they barely make it to medium range.
The MP5, the MP5, and we're talking about medium to long range. That's why I'm bringing it up. It feels like you're tickling somebody.
Yes, no, it's not designed for it. And the P90 and the K10 don't do long range, other than the fact that they spit out 900 plus rounds a second, and they just can overpower the fact that you're tickling them with the fact that you're tickling them at 900 plus rounds a second. The K10's what, 1200 something rounds a second, if I remember right?
It's a ridiculous weapon. Fire rate.
If you hold the trigger down for a second, you will empty the entire mag. That's how fast that thing goes. And if I remember, it's 1250, I believe is the exact number. But once again, that's my point. All it has is short range weapons. I understand these are PDWs, but the Uzi, the M45 could hit harder and have slower RPMs so that they could have that more medium range, because that's what the class is missing, but they don't. They just suck.
Yeah, I hate to say it, but the MP5, in my mind, it's not the same class weapon, but it's like a Tech 9. It almost is on that secondary weapon level. Because it's so useless, it just doesn't serve to me as like primary worth. It doesn't have that like, this is my primary weapon and I'm gonna do work with it kind of like mentality.
No, it's very much like the Tech 9. And in the real world, most people use this gun very similar to the Tech 9 and the actual Uzi and stuff like that. These are all small submachine gun guns or machine pistols, and they all have the same thing. They're used for really, really tight-knit, in close quarters. Most of the times, these are considered secondaries in any kind of engagement. Your main is going to be something with a little bit more oomph, like the UMP45. This is a gun that has medium range potential, but we don't have anything that has true solid medium range without favoriting the close quarters, because the UMP and the MPX have very close quarters benefits. They shoot very fast. They have decent damage models, but you can drop people at range up to a point. This is where the Uzi and the M45 should have took over.
Yeah, I'm sick of guns not feeling progressive. I'm sick of getting into these FPS shooters and your guns that you unlock don't feel better than the guns you originally had.
The Mechanics Syndicate gun is beat out by, half the guns you already bought. It's pathetic.
Yeah. All right, well, we've kind of beat this to death. Let's, I want to talk about the perk system. It's something that bothers me. I don't like it in this game. I think it was an afterthought in a way, for some reason, to compete with the Call of Duty perk system. God forbid I mentioned Call of Duty and Battlefield in the same sentence. I think somebody's hair just went on fire. Some of them, some of them really don't seem to be class related, and they're used throughout each class. And by that I mean like they're the same perks in each class. They didn't differentiate them. In this case, I would say that developers find a way to incorporate these things via a hotfix or a patch to make them permanent to each class. I also think some of the perks are not properly ranked. I mean, fast swap or fast reload for a tier 4 pickup that's pretty fucking lame. When and then when you hit your final tier perk, you should feel like a badass. It's supposed to be a progression-based theme, but you don't get that. Like, it's like, oh, I got fast swap as my tier 4 perk. Awesome. Really?
I agree in that sense. I think that some of the perks are pretty lame. Like, they could have done better. They could have done it a slightly different way. fast swap, that's really nice. But if you do quick reload instead, it's 100 times better. There's no point in doing quick swap unless you're the sniper and you really quick need to swap over to your Tech 9 or your 93R.
Yeah.
There's so much potential with the perk system because the perk system itself is beautifully made and basically completely and utterly takes over and leaves the previous perk system in the dust. This is a beautiful perk system in my opinion. But the perks they decided to give were a little lackluster for such a beautiful system to be implemented to make up for what Battlefield 4 left us all wanting.
Well, truthfully, they should be looking, if they wanted to really incorporate this well, they should be looking at the Bad Company 2 perks.
Which were, you got a single perk that was automatically assigned.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying it has to be singular. I'm saying that at least if you're going to make 4 perks, make them 4 freaking worthwhile perks. Like, you know they're lame. Like, I don't even have to defend this. This is just terrible.
I'm saying they should have done it slightly different. I agree with there should be an automatic one, and I think that that's probably one of the only critiques with the system itself, besides what they decided to put as perks, is I think the first tier should have been automatically started. Like, as soon as you join in, as soon as you spawn the first time, your first perk should be available to you right away so that it actually is making a difference to your gameplay right away and giving you the ability to maybe unlock the other tiers, because tier 4 you can't get to without a hacker to assist you, basically.
Right. I'll counter that. I'll say that beyond a certain level, you should have it available to you right off the get-go. I don't think you should have it at like a level 5 or a level 10. I think you should be at least anywhere from 40 to 50 rank, and then you're because you still have 100 ranks to go. I mean, I think that's something when you establish yourself as a player, you know, a third of the way through, you should be able to get a perk right off the gate. I think that's fair.
Okay, so the system is right now that you have to get such and such amount of experience to unlock each perk section. So when you first play the game, you get perk 1. So operator, extended mag, and I forget the other one because I don't use it. It's extended mag. That's just all there is to it. Well, no, it's extra ammo. Sorry. Extra ammo is the only perk that I use because the other ones are irrelevant compared to extra ammo. So you get this first perk, but you don't get 2, 3, or 4. You cannot use those perks. Even if a hacker gave you it, it doesn't matter. Those are locked to you. So you have to level up. So you're saying that after you've unlocked your 4th tier, say maybe a couple levels later, you get automatic tier 1. So that you've established yourself. You're level that's 30 or something like that, and now you automatically get tier 1. So as soon as you spawn in, you get, extra ammo.
Yeah, why isn't that fair? You earn the right to get that perk. You play to rank 50. I don't see that being... It is an advantage because you earned experience and you did the things necessary to be at that rank. Shouldn't you get a benefit for doing that, besides just weaponry and gadgetry and all that other stuff?
I'm going to go with yeah. I'm going to say yeah. Because I do think that you should be able to have a perk right away, and I do not mind having to work for it. I'm completely fine with working for it. That's why I kind of enjoy the new unlock system instead of playing the same class continuously forever and ever and ever. I can go grind on a different class, make the money, and buy what I want.
But what I'm saying to you, Ansem, is I think it's pretty lazy that you have the same perks on three of the classes, if not 4 of them.
No, I believe the last 2 tiers on the perk system is the exact same set of perks for all classes.
Right, but that's terrible. Unless these perks are amazing. And I'm pretty sure they're fast swap and fast reload.
Well,
I'm pretty sure. I don't think that's it. Should be amazingly class specific. The last 2,
yeah, especially the last 2, because if I remember right, it's improve your spot, quick unspot for tier 3. Tier 4 is fast reload and fast swap.
Come on, like fast reload. I mean,
those should be the first ones.
Exactly, like getting an extra grenade or an extra 40mm grenade or a flak jacket for the mechanic. Those are class specific to me. I think that's great.
Nobody else gets flak jacket. That's just all there is to it. The first 2 perks are class specific, and I'm going to say yes, it's completely horrible the fact that the first 2. I mean, yeah, it's completely horrible. If those were the last 2 instead of the first 2, I maybe could forgive them for having all of the perks be the same. But the fact that I worked through the first 2 perk systems and that's it, I'm not being rewarded after that. It's just I'm getting the usual perks.
Something where whenever I see a fast reload or a fast swap, that to me is just stupid. It is. It's something that can be programmed into the game, and you need to think of other perks for your classes. It is not necessary to have those perks. What'd you take?
Well,
Adrenaline, and now you have fast swap and fast reload? This is in no way an attribute, game. Like, you don't get vitality or energy or endurance or strength.
basically, you're equating it to fast cast from any magical RPG.
Yeah, I mean, I know it's an odd comparison, but
No, it's fine. I completely get it because that's how it is. It's unrealistic, and on top of that, it's instead of improving, well, I mean, it improves the skill gap for everybody else, but it lessens the skill gap for you. Making it so you can reload faster on a gun that takes fucking forever to reload is making it's you click the easy button. You just was like hardcore mode is too hard. Well, in hardcore, not that. So in hard mode, it's too hard for me. I'm gonna go ahead and click the easy button now that I've got my tier 4 perk.
yeah, I
And
mean,
I
that's
understand that people are gonna be like, "That's a reward." I'm gonna be like, "No, that's patting you on the head and telling you you did a good job, not a reward.
yeah,
That's instant gratification, and that's not improving your skill. Improving your
and that's
skill
not
is
okay.
getting used to needing to take cover because you had to use all of your ammunition in whatever gun. I mean, like the K10, super fast reload as long as you have a bullet in the chamber. But if you empty that thing, you're penalized, and you have to go through a ridiculously long, what seems like an eternity reload for it. And that's how all guns should be. If you empty the clips, you should take forever to reload your gun because you need to pull that bolt and get the next round chambered because you didn't conserve your ammo properly.
Okay, so we probably beat the perk system to death. We've stated our opinions on it. Let's transition into the more important topic for at least myself, which is the melee system, Battlefield Hardline versus Battlefield 4.
You mean something that works and something that's broke as fuck? In case nobody happened to listen to the last podcast, we all fucking hate Battlefield 4 melee system.
Basically, there's no counter knife, so Battlefield Hardline wins. And to add to that, they have multiple animations that work.
Not just multiple animation, but multiple different types. It's just not a knife. We get to swing sledgehammers. We get to stab people. We get to beat them with a bat. I mean, the new melee system is not just an upgrade. It's not just taking a broke thing out for me. It is literally an entirely brand new melee system that I absolutely love. Because I can grab a knife and I can go old school fucking stab somebody in the eye if they're laying on the ground. I mean, I know you've seen this animation. You got that camping sniper on the ground. If you happen to have a knife equipped as your melee system, you roll him over and you plunge down with your knife. He grabs your arm to try and stop you, and you continue to use your weight to plunge it into his eye.
Or you stab him repetitively.
Okay, yes.
And then there's another one where you turn the guy around, you stab him in the throat, and you rip it out. I mean, these are brutal animations.
Oh yeah, they're not joking around with this stuff. Like, they mean you're dying. That's how that works.
Yeah, one of the things I did like was the interactions, like the audio that comes out of the the criminal's mouth. He's like, "Hey, I want info," or the cop is like, "Tell me what you know," or "Tell me where your buddies are." It's.
Oh, you're talking about the interrogation system?
Yeah, the interrogation
non-lethal takedowns. By the way, non-lethal takedowns. You don't have to just kill them. You can handcuff them and interrogate them and find out where everybody is on the minimap for, I believe it's like 10 seconds.
Yeah.
What's also great, if you die and respawn, you are not on the minimap. It doesn't light the whole entire minimap. It just spots everybody on the minimap for the first time. If you die and respawn, you're not on the minimap anymore. That was actually pretty cool. I didn't realize they were going to do that one.
Yeah, I mean, so let's kind of wrap things up here. I mean, we've talked for a good amount of time. Let's kind of, closing thoughts here. I mean, overall thoughts on Battlefield Hardline Multiplayer. Do you enjoy it? Do you think I mean, we obviously know it needs work.
Yes.
Would you recommend it to a friend? I guess let's put it that way.
Would I recommend it to a friend? I would recommend it to any person who is not brand new to the franchise. If you've played the other ones, I would suggest go ahead, play this new title. Take it with a grain of salt because it does have a little bit to work on. But we understand that because, like, if you've come from Battlefield 4, you know that they're actually going to fix it. So you're not disheartened by the problems. So if you're new, I'm going to say go ahead and pick up this game, but take it with a grain of salt. Realize that the developers of these games have not turned their back. They are trying to fix it, but take it slow. Relax. Don't take anything that happens in the game personally because, yes, it has its issues, but they're going to be resolved. It's a great game if this is what you like. Give it a good chance and try it. Any of my friends, I would be like, come here, play it on mine before you decide to buy it, just to make sure that you actually like it. And I'll explain that, yes, these things are broken, but don't worry. They're going to hopefully get fixed.
Yeah, I agree with that. I would say that ultimately it's a game that I would recommend my friends buying the stock version without premium. That's how I would put it. I bought the deluxe edition. I bought the ultimate edition, and I regret doing that. I would have bought, going into it now, I would buy the stock version because as the game stands right now, it is not worth that value that I paid for the game. And that's my opinion. It's not. I don't find the game to be horrible. I find the game to be incomplete in certain aspects that we've talked about, and to spend that kind of money for a incomplete game is not something I value as a consumer.
No, I completely agree that yes, premium's a little rough to be buying right now, but I'm going to reserve my opinion until probably the first DLC. I haven't bought it yet because I had to buy 2 copies and I just don't have the kind of money to be shilling out for basically a third copy so I can have premium. But I'm going to reserve mine until the DLC. I want to see the DLCs and then I'm going to say whether or not premium's worth it because one of the things that you get with premium is all of the DLCs for free. Well, the first 4 for free. If they come out with more, I don't think it's covered.
So, in closing, guys, again, my name is THB. I'd like to thank Ansem for contributing to the podcast. If you like the conversation or just want to contribute your 2 cents about specific subjects, leave your thoughts in the comment section down below. We will be discussing Battlefield Hardline single player next week. I hope you guys enjoyed the podcast and continue to listen to us as the first season goes on. We will see you in the next episode.
Have a good one, guys.